The family of pop singer Lauren Bennett has officially announced the details surrounding her funeral, marking a devastating conclusion to the investigation and public mourning period following her sudden passing. The statement, released early this morning through a family spokesperson, confirmed that a private, invitation-only service will be held later this week at a historic chapel in Los Angeles. The announcement specifically requested that members of the public and the press respect the family's need for absolute privacy during this time, noting that the ceremony will be strictly closed off to cameras and media personnel. This documentary-style report examines the circumstances surrounding the funeral announcement, the sweeping impact of Bennett's career on the global pop landscape, and the industry's response to the loss of a defining voice of the early 21st century pop and dance movement. According to the official press release provided by the Bennett family, the funeral service is designed to be a celebration of her life and artistic legacy rather than a traditional mourning event. The family detailed that the service will feature a curated selection of her most prominent musical works, including her foundational collaborations with LMFAO and her chart-topping releases with the girl group G.R.L. The announcement also outlined a specific charitable directive in lieu of floral arrangements, asking that donations be directed toward mental health organizations and music therapy programs for young artists. The decision to heavily emphasize mental health resources in her funeral announcement echoes the advocacy work Bennett herself was known for, particularly following the tragic loss of her close friend and G.R.L bandmate, Simone Battle, in 2014. Archival footage and industry records trace Lauren Bennett's trajectory from a young performer in the United Kingdom to a global pop phenomenon. Bennett first garnered significant public attention as a member of the Party Rock Girls, a girl group assembled by Interscope Records in the late 2000s. While the group achieved moderate success with their debut single, it was her transition into the mainstream dance and pop scene that solidified her international status. In 2011, Bennett was recruited by the electropop duo LMFAO to feature on their global anthem, Party Rock Anthem. The track, which remains one of the best-selling digital singles of all time, featured Bennett delivering the iconic opening verse. Music historians and industry analysts frequently cite her vocal performance on that track as the catalyst that bridged the gap between traditional pop vocalists and the emerging electronic dance music scene that dominated the early 2010s. Following the unprecedented success of Party Rock Anthem, which sold over 15 million copies worldwide, Bennett's career trajectory shifted into high gear. She was subsequently selected by choreographer and creator Robin Antin to become a central member of the newly reformed girl group G.R.L. Alongside members Simone Battle, Emmeline Estrada, Natasha Slayton, and Paula Van Oppen, Bennett helped G.R.L achieve massive commercial visibility. Their breakout single, Ugly Heart, achieved multi-platinum status internationally, and the group was tapped to open for Britney Spears on her highly publicized Piece of Me residency in Las Vegas. Archival interviews from this period show Bennett acting as the de facto vocal anchor of the group, providing the powerhouse lead vocals that distinguished G.R.L from other pop acts of the era. The G.R.L entity eventually disbanded, though Bennett, Slayton, and Estrada later mounted a brief reunion in 2016 before ultimately pursuing separate solo careers. As a solo artist, Bennett pivoted her musical style, moving away from the high-energy dance pop of her earlier work to embrace a darker, more R&B-infused sound. Tracks like So Cold and Tattoo showcased a vocal maturity and a willingness to experiment with production that critics praised as a bold artistic evolution. Despite the critical acclaim for her solo output, the commercial machinery of the major label system proved difficult to navigate as a solo act in an increasingly fragmented music industry. Industry reports from this era indicate that Bennett faced significant pressure from record executives to return to the commercially proven dance pop formula, a tension that ultimately led to her transitioning toward independent music production and songwriting for other artists. The announcement of Lauren Bennett's funeral has sent shockwaves through the very industry machinery that both elevated and pressured her. In the hours following the family's press release, a torrent of tributes flooded social media from high-profile producers, DJs, and pop stars. Red Foo of LMFAO released a statement calling Bennett the undeniable spark of an entire generation of music, while former G.R.L members shared joint posts commemorating her resilience and sisterhood. The collective grief expressed by her peers highlights a recurring, systemic issue within the entertainment sector: the profound isolation experienced by artists once they step out of the recording booth. Investigative reports and sociological studies of the pop music industry frequently point to the phenomenon of the post-hit void. For artists like Bennett, who achieved stratospheric success at a very young age with tracks like Party Rock Anthem, the subsequent years are often characterized by a desperate struggle to maintain relevance in an industry that prizes novelty above all else. The funeral announcement by her family has inadvertently reignited discussions among music industry watchdogs regarding the lack of robust, long-term psychological support systems for artists who experience sudden, global fame. Mental health professionals specializing in performer wellness have utilized the news of her passing to emphasize that the high-energy, party-centric image projected by dance pop music often masks severe underlying psychological distress. The logistics surrounding the funeral service itself reflect the high-profile nature of Bennett's life, while adhering strictly to the family's wishes for security and intimacy. Security personnel have been contracted to establish a wide perimeter around the Los Angeles chapel to prevent paparazzi infiltration. The family's announcement specifically noted that any unauthorized attempts to photograph or record the service will result in immediate legal action, underscoring the severity of their desire for a secluded farewell. Law enforcement officials have confirmed that standard traffic and crowd control measures will be implemented in the surrounding neighborhood to accommodate the influx of attendees expected to arrive for the private ceremony. The official funeral announcement by the Bennett family serves as the final administrative step in closing a chapter on a life that, despite its tragic end, left an